Today is September the 11th, 1944. Today, Task Group 38.1, 38.2, 38.3 fueled, and later the Iowa and the New Jersey joined our task group. Admiral Halsey is on the New Jersey. After fueling, we proceeded northwards to make airstrikes on the islands in the central Philippines. But every day I kept a diary all during the war. 5 invasions. Today our planes made airstrikes on Negril, 3 islands in the...
That's Negroes. In case anybody...
Can you read that?
No, sir. You go ahead. You go great.
In the central Philippines, our planes made out quite good. They shot down a lot of Bettys. The Bettys is a Jap plane. And also spotted a large number of ships. One of the destroyers, the Marshal, took our plane last night, sunk a Jap patrol boat. We took our picket station, and everything. The Jap planes were coming in every fast as we could shoot up and down. I kept a diary all during the war. 5 invasions from the USS the Sullivan in 1943-44.
Do y'all remember? Yes, absolutely. Do y'all remember the 5 Sullivan boys that died all at one time and the law was changed? And what is your name again, sir?
Pardon?
What is your name again? Your name?
John Clifton.
John Clifton. Thank you, John Clifton, World War II veteran. Aldo, what is your last name?
My last name is Dupre. Aldo Arthur Dupre. I have a Oriental name also, people. You can use that if you want to. My Oriental name is Hey You.
Hey, you.
Hey, you too. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for sharing with us this morning, this afternoon, and for your service. You want to sit here, gentlemen? Sit down, please. Feel free. My father, I'm not a veteran. I didn't have whatever it takes to don a military uniform and walk around with a target all over my body. I just didn't have it like you guys, and I admit it. And I'm here representing my father, who was in World War II. He got wounded in World War II, and he fought in the Black Buffalo Division, and which was from the earlier Buffalo Soldiers. And he went to Korea 5 years later, and he was wounded there as well. And my father is gone in heaven. He's looking at us right now.
Amen.
I just want to let him know that his son is representing him, and my brothers as well. And, you know, one of the most important people in the military that we tend to forget about and don't really honor that much, at least I haven't heard much of it. You know, the real backbone, particularly of the male soldier, is his wife. They are the real veterans here. I tell you, when you guys are gone and all those dangerous things you got to do, she has to carry you in her heart and in her mind. And at the same time, she's got to carry the concerns and the fears of the children in her heart and mind as well.
Amen.
And she's got to be solid. She's got to stand firm for him when he comes home with his crazy self. She's got to nurture him back to realities, home again. I remember my dad was sometimes he would get to drinking, and a little short guy, and he just sometimes just start raging. And Mama said he's still fighting the war. And I used to sit on my daddy's lap with my little brother, and we used to ask him questions, although you guys. We used to say, "Daddy, what was it like?" And he told us, man. He told us. Maybe that's why I didn't follow through in our tradition as a family of being in the military, because I guess I couldn't take it. But for all of you who do take it, and the mothers, my mama, she used to have to deal with us. But all y'all men and women who can take it and who took it, I salute you personally. I wear this target on me now, this uniform, in honor of you. I get criticized for this. I am you look at, this is not the typical. Man, brother, what you doing in that outfit, man? Don't you know that's them the people that oppressed us, man, and held us in slavery? You crazy fool. You know what I'm saying, Mo? You know what I'm saying? But I figure, folks, I love this country.
Man.
And if I'm a descendant of the chattel slaves and was a victim of Jim Crowism and I still love this country, what is your problem? What is your problem? So therefore, if I can love America, yes, and I can criticize America, but I also have answers for America. What's your excuse? So, this is my uniform on your behalf, gentlemen. And ladies, my apologies. We salute the wives of the veterans.
Man.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Whoa, let's do. Who knows what the number one hit is in America today? What's the number one hit? That's close. What's the number one hit? What did you say? What did you say? The Star Spangled Banner. Let's sing it. Come on, y'all, stand up. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare and bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hurrah!
USA!
USA!
USA! USA! That's what we're talking about, world. Sure. Hold on one second. I want to say, before we go any further, I want to thank Bob Roserock,
Yes.
who has been well, I can't say tireless because I know he gets tired. But no matter what, he keeps on going. That's courage. I want to just salute Bob Roserock for
Amen.
all the work that he has done. If it wasn't for him, man, none of this would be going on. I'd like to welcome up to give us a word and his view of all of this, what's going on here today in the veterans' homeland. One of our very fine and great allies. He's the Region 9 Director of the Vietnam Veterans of America, California, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, man, dude, Colorado, Hawaii, Guam, and the Philippines. Veterans, fellow citizens, brothers and sisters, please welcome from Northern California, right? Dick Southern. Come on, man. Hurrah. Thank you. Your service.
I like that music.
Yeah.
I don't have a prepared speech. Really, what I want to say is welcome to all of you. I'm glad you're here. As it's been said, it's a small but energetic group. And it's the 4th annual event. And I'm very proud and happy to be a sponsor, a co-host, advocate, ally, emailer, to get the word out about the West LA campus that we don't really get to use that much anymore. It seems to be a struggle a lot of times. But I'd also like to recognize there's a few VBA, Vietnam Veterans of America members in the audience. I think we have a quorum from Chapter 446 in Pasadena. One little story. Bob's done a wonderful job over the last 6-7 years. But another person that did the job before then and brought everybody's attention to the fact that West LA wasn't running exactly the right way is Big Al Biernesser. Big Al, stand up.
Now you know why you call him Big Al.
Oh, I got you this time. But
Thank you for your service, big brother. Turn around, let the people see you. Can you listen or what?
now you hide me.
I've been told I block out the sun.
Al took over this thing in the 80s, 90s, and then kind of got away from it for a while because he got a job. One of those weird things that go on in life. But Bob has picked it up, and Al's even said that he's done a lot better than you did during the 90s. A lot more stick-to-itiveness and tireless effort to get the thing going.
Somebody had to get started, though.
There you go. You'll meet some of the other VBA members. I think one of them's coming up here to talk to you in a bit, and we've got a few back in the background there. And we thank all the Vietnam veterans for their support for this great event. And this is the 4th one. Been privileged to make all 4. Trying to make it happen, keep it happening. Oh, and I see Chapter 5-3 back there from Redondo Beach, the Earlemans. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Hello. Okay. Anyway, we'll get on with the program. I just wanted to say hello and thank you for coming, and we appreciate your attendance very, very much. Thank you.
Before you go, let me ask you something, Dick. Both of you. Why did you pick up this cause? Because, you know, you veterans have served, you know what double duty is, right? Why are you doing double duty? What's driving you?
Well, the motto for the founding principle actually for Vietnam Veterans of America is never again shall one generation of veterans abandon another. And this is about veterans. I don't care what your personal feelings are about the VA, Bob Rosebrock, Dick Southern, Al Biernesser, anybody else. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. The idea is we're trying to get veterans to use veterans land, and primarily aimed at homeless, which is a advocacy of yours, obviously. And that's the reason. That's the reason why I got involved, because we got to help veterans.
Amen.
I'll take it from there and say one of the reasons I took it up is because if I didn't, who would? You know,
Right,
and
that's
thank
right.
you, Dick. I mean, Bob for picking it up after I dropped the ball. The gentleman I dropped the ball on didn't carry it as far as you have, you know, for certain. He'll remain nameless, but you know, we agreed to serve when we joined the service, and this is just a continuation of that.
Amen.
That's it.
That double duty is what they call that. Double jeopardy. You know, back in the Civil War, the war that really defined what the United States of America would be according to its first legal document, the Declaration of Independence, saying that God created all men equal. In that war, North and South, there was a group in front of the soldiers with the weapons, with the rifles, they're called the color guard. Those were some really out there guys. They're out front, no weapon. The only weapon they had was their colors. And if one went down, he would be dying, but what would he do? Hold that flag at all costs until another will come by and pick it up. And some guys ran with it for a long way, 50 yards maybe, 100 yards. Some guys only took one step. But the point is, they put their hand on the standard for the United States of America, for the country that they were fighting in the South.
Amen.
So everything a veteran does is good for this. Thank you very much. We want to bring up somebody just met today. Our next speaker is the Assistant Director of Regional Office, United States Department of Veterans Affairs. She's got something to tell us. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, veterans, please welcome Sheila Jackson. Ms. Jackson.
Thank you very much for that. I don't know that I have something to tell you. I do have something to share with you. This is the first event that I've been invited to and had the honor to attend. But I will tell you that at every opportunity that I get to share with these type of people for this type of subject, for veterans and Veterans Affairs, I just want to say one thing about Veterans Affairs. First of all, there really is a thing called a backlog, and over at Los Angeles Regional Office, you have 300 employees. Despite of what you might hear or read in the news or see in any hearings, that are working every single day to listen to the voice of the veteran.
Amen.
To try to get you their benefits as timely as possible. They are not joking. They are serious. They understand the sacrifice that you all have made. And it's a sacrifice that whether you served or didn't serve, it's all one united thing. I had 21 years in the United States Army, finished the first sergeant. And as I was going through that service, I noticed something. I noticed that what my country was asking for me, I could never get back again. And it was my time and my life. And the civilian world continued to move on, in spite of the sacrifice and service that I and my comrades were making. That is a time-honored sacrifice. Sacrifice breeds love. Love, as our Mr. Patriot has told us, for the flag, for the colors, for our brothers and sisters that call themselves veterans and that are veterans. It breeds love. And this is why every single day I get up and I come to work to listen very intently, very closely for the voice of the veteran asking for my assistance. We give that time that you've done today. Every one of you have come and said, you share that with me. It says that you understand, because you could be doing some of anything, and you're not going to get this time back either. It's our most precious resource, that we come and fellowship together, that we come and spend time together, that we listen and try to understand where can we make a difference in a veteran's life.
Amen.
What more can we do? Is there anything more that we can do to make their existence and their life just a little bit better? Is it education? Is it a home? Is it taking care of the homeless? What is it that we can do? And as long as we as a community ask that question, what more can I personally do in order to advance the cause of a very noble and heroic entity called a veteran, then I think that we will advance the veterans' cause with these events and many more like them to come. I don't have a script either, but I move in the spirit of freedom, and what that really means.
Amen.
And sometimes you say it's not free, but what it costs is enumerated in the grandkids that I see running around here, and each one of the wives and all of the families. It's not just that veteran. He has a concentric circle around him that when he sacrificed, by proxy, they sacrifice.
Amen.
So as we all sit here today and fellowship and talk to each other, let us continue to have that question in our heart. What more can I do to recognize, to advance the cause of a veteran, to get them the rights and the recognition that they so honorably deserve? So I don't want to take time. I've already been told, because I can't stand here forever and talk about veterans. It's what I do. I come up and I get up in the morning and I go over to the Los Angeles Regional Office excited to figure out where can I be of a service today. And so thank you all for your service, whether you were in the military or out of the military. We're all American citizens, so thank you a lot for your service.
Jackson.
Ladies,
come back for 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sheila Jackson.
You served 29 years, 21 years. Why did you go through that, put that uniform on, wear that target, and a woman at that? Why would you do that?
Because I grew up on my grandmother's knee and my grandfather listening to stories that they told me about how hard it was to even have equality, to go and drink out of the same faucet as someone else. And it dawned on me, even as a little kid, that, all right, we could either talk about it or we could get involved with changing what's happened. So I got involved because I wanted a voice in America, and I thought without service, how could I have a voice in America? So I speak on America's behalf because I have service.
Amen. Amen. Sheila Jackson.
Thank you. Sheila Jackson, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen. Brothers
Sheila
and sisters,
Jackson.
Sheila Jackson.
Sheila Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Hoorah.
Come on, World War II veteran. Give us another day in the life of a World War II veteran 50, 60 years ago, sir.
I just want to kind of let everyone know I wrote a diary for 5 invasions in World War II, and I want to publish it one day before I die.
Amen.
And here's just one page. This is July the 22nd, 1944. We anchored I was on a destroyer, the Sullivans. I put it in commission in 1943 and went on 5 invasions on it. And I like to tell the people, write a book on it, but I haven't got the smarts anymore. So anyway, here's July the 22nd, 1944. We anchored for the night while the carriers loaded up with more bombs. Some of the guys got to go ashore, and they said there's still 1,000 Japs hiding on the island. The Marines are all on edge, and they shoot at anything. The island next to Saipan, about 4 miles, is still occupied by the Japs. All night, destroyers are firing on Tinian. There's 300 ships anchored around Saipan. Tomorrow, the Marines are going to land on Tinian. I can smell the dead Japs. I wrote this every day, all during the war. And I'd like to publish it, but I don't know how to do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. By the way, why did you join the military?
Well, the war was on. The Japs were hitting us in 1943. I was 17 years old, and I said, I want to get in. I want to join the Navy before the Army takes me.
What do you think of that, Army? Just like the Navy boys, huh? No wonder they be fighting all the time on holiday. My goodness. Aldo, sir, why did you join the military back then? What was bothering you?
Oh, I thought we should be in it someplace and help our country out. We didn't really get what we were supposed to be getting for what we give in the deal. And I thought, well, I better turn my deferment down and go into service. That's what I did.
Amen.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. My father, he was also, before he went in, he was a prize fighter, the boxer. And like a lot of the men at that time of my community, they felt that they needed to get in there and let America know that we're American too. And I can't stand that word, African American. I really can't. I'm not an African American. We are not African Americans. We are Americans.
Man.
Guys like this fought to make sure that we are Americans.
Right.
You know. Oh, and by the way, my dad, when he was doing them rages, by the way, he found the Lord found him, and his whole life rearranged, and he became peaceful. And I asked him before he left. He was sitting in the chair, and I was sitting on his bed. I said, Dad, anything you want to tell me before you know? What do you do? Anything you want to say? He looked right at me and said, son, keep your eyes on the Lord and keep doing the work you're doing to help the homeless and the veterans. I said, Dad, you got it. So all you World War II guys, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amen.
Hey, okay, next person we want to bring up to speak and share their mind, and we're going to quiz them, of course, is the past California State President of American GI Forum. Please welcome
Howard Hernandez.
Good afternoon. You know, I personally find it a great honor and a privilege to be here with gentlemen from World War II. My father was a World War II veteran, served with the 82nd Airborne, and I followed along. I'm a Vietnam veteran. My father joined, much like these gentlemen, at the age of 17, out of the patriotism for this country and out of the pride of being an American. I would like to introduce myself. As the gentleman indicated, I am the past state commander of the American GI Forum and currently the commander of the City of Commerce chapter of the American GI Forum. I continue to champion the causes of our veterans throughout the state of California, throughout the nation, in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento. On my recent, let me give you a couple of facts. One of the reasons I'm here, and I'm from Los Angeles. My father was from San Antonio, Texas. After the Second World War, he came here and settled here in Los Angeles. I was the first one born here in Los Angeles half a century ago. Jeez. But a little bit over half a century, about 60 some odd years. Nonetheless, being from Los Angeles County, we as veterans have the largest contingent of veterans than any county in the United States. Amen. Here in Los Angeles. That being said, veterans as a whole in the United States comprise just a little over 1% of this nation's population. Now, there's patriotism in all Americans, whether they're supporting our troops, whether they're part of our troops, or whether they're families of our troops. What we need to realize is those people who step forward, our veterans, that little over 1%, and I believe it was probably higher during the Second World War, all the way up to about 7-8%. But those people who stepped forward and actually decided that they wanted to be a part of our military are deserving of not only being veterans, not only being patriots, but of even a higher classification as an American. We look out amongst each others, and we have all creeds, we have all races, and we have all nationalities and religions. But we're brothers in arms.
Amen.
There's nothing I would not do for another veteran that I might consider doing otherwise for someone who was not a veteran. But that's just because I feel that they are due the same respect I would give them, because they are veterans.
Amen.
We were out there, and I know that as I sit here on the National Veterans Home,
yes, sir,
not the park,
yes, sir,
as the Veterans Home,
yes, sir,
that this is the entitlement of all the veterans.
yes, sir.
We should have free access to this property.
That's right.
This is one of the arguments, or one of the presentations I made last year in November to the Veterans Liaison on Veterans Affairs at the White House. I informed them that we were not going to go away. Although these gentlemen who were introduced prior to myself, Bob included, I've only been involved in this for the last 3 years. I've been out here on the corner with Bob on Saturday and Sunday, with Bob and Tom. Tom, where'd you go? For the last 3 years. However, we're not going to go away.
That's right.
None of us are going to go away. We may go away one at a time with time and age. But the rest of the veterans, we have to get, and we have to energize them, because what we're doing now is not going to benefit us. it's going to benefit the veterans behind us.
That's right.
And they have to appreciate that. They have to appreciate the sacrifice and the work that we do on their behalf. With that being said, I believe that what we have, the next step is for us to create alliances within our VSOs so that we can conduct a monthly meeting or rally here on these grounds. And it's a simple application that has to be acknowledged by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Whether it's American Legion, whether it's the Veterans of Foreign War, whether it's the American GI Forum, whether it's the Marine Corps League, and any other organization related with veterans, the Iraq-Afghanistan Association of America, or I believe it's IWA. Anyways, they all have to be participants here. We have to take advantage of the opportunity that we have here because it's ours.
Yes.
It's not for anyone else. We own it. And by own it, I don't mean personally own it, but we have the utility of this property. And after the First World War, there was a time when the First World War veterans were not provided the benefits that were required to have. So they marched on Washington, D.C., and they camped out in front of the White House until they were run off. I would propose that after this decision of the lawsuit that was filed by the ACLU, that we start taking camps here, and we occupy the property that should be held for our homeless, so that we can assist our homeless. And that, I'm not taking it to a extreme. I was raised in the 60s. I knew what we had to do. But I also knew that I had a responsibility to this country.
Man.
And a responsibility that my dad drilled into my head until I got drafted. Then he said, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute, what? I grew up with it, Dad. I'll be back. I'll see you when I get here. And that's the same commitment all us veterans have had, and we continue to have. Amen. This is our home. We want it back, and we'll do whatever's necessary to take it back.
Amen.
Thank you.
Before you go, Howard, thank you, absolutely. Before you go, now, a lot of guys back in the 60s, when the draft was on, a lot of us took off. And we ducked and hid and made up excuses. Why did you obey?
I grew up with my father being a World War II veteran, and he was constantly saying that we did this as veterans, we did that as veterans, and when I was called, I didn't hesitate. I said, hey, this is my country.
But weren't you scared? Weren't you afraid that you would get wounded or die or something?
We're all afraid.
That's right.
But we all want to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. So, but we all have to put it out there and realize that we're working as a team. Every veteran out here is a team member. And we all had to work as a team in order for all of us to come back. And anyone who is not pulling their share of the line, then you're weighing it down. You better get out and get somebody else in that line. And that's the way I look at it. If we had to sacrifice, we sacrificed. Some of my friends sacrificed. A lot of my friends sacrificed when they returned. But we all had that job to complete, that need for us to defend each other, to preserve it and ensure that we all came home in one piece.
Amen.
Thank you for your service. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, very good. Put a little bit of joy into the day. Yeah. Can you clap your hands? Come on. Put a little bit of soul now. Come on. Yeah. Come on, Sheila. Work it. Yeah.
Sheila Jackson.
We could do this if we were the club veterans. Yeah.
I want my life to be live with you. got you, they got you. Oh, you don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like to love somebody the way I love you. Woo!
Hey, all right. I tell you, veterans, this is a very joyful country. Those of us who have it. If it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't have this freedom. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. All right. Come, sir. Come right here. And what is your name, sir?
Bill Zelinka.
Bill Zelinka. And where are you from, Bill Zelinka?
Granada Hills, California.
Your local fish right here.
Right.
Very good. Tell us, who are you? What do you do? And you served our country in World War II. What branch of the military were you in, sir?
I was in the Army. I was drafted. And I have a World War II story.
Please, please.
On December 24, 1944, I was a private in the 66th Black Panther Infantry Division.
I did not know such a thing existed. Black Panther Infantry Division.
The animal.
All right.
Early in the, I was on His Majesty's ship, the Leopoldville. And we knew we were going to ship across the channel into the Battle of the Bulge. But early in the morning, a huge Marine came up and he said, you, picked out 10 or 11 of us and never found nothing, true story. And he said, you guys are on the wrong ship. Get your gear and follow me. So I had to walk for a very long distance with my barracks bag and my BAR, and then 5:30 Christmas Eve, we're crossing the English Channel, and the ship starts shaking. They say, prepare to abandon ship. And but 15 minutes later, they said, all clear. What we found out was that the German torpedo missed the ship that I was on. It hit the ship that I was on that morning. And Christmas Eve, we lost over 800 men out of our division, which meant that we could not go into the Battle of the Bulge, and they gave us an easy job, and that was to keep 50,000 Germans in Saint Nazaire and Lorient sector. That was where the German submarines were. So here I am today.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Okay. He is the past California judge advocate of AM American Vets. Please welcome fellow your veteran, Francisco Juarez. Come on, Francisco, shake it, man. There you go. Brother, welcome. Francisco, tell us what's going on.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I don't have the honor of the two World War II veterans who are here with me, but I want to thank them. I want to thank the gentleman that just spoke, and any other World War II veterans that are present. I want to thank all veterans that are present in this small group. It's coincidental that a peace rally should just have passed a moment ago back over here. It was a group of probably 300 people that tied up traffic on Wilshire Boulevard and moved on down the road. There are many causes. There's many reasons for us to be out doing different things. And I want to thank you all for being here to do this thing, because this thing is very important.
Yes.
I'm glad that Howard mentioned the 1% as opposed to the other 1% that runs the economy of the world.
Yes.
Because this 1% gave security to this nation, the strongest nation in the world. I want you to look over here to the left. And I want you to notice that fence that's running over here covering up a construction site. A construction site that is being secretly built in here and could one day have a groundbreaking ceremony. We don't know. It appears right now that it's on hold, but we don't know. The perpetrators of this illegal action are leaseholders of one of the 9 fraudulent leases that Judge Otero ruled, the federal court judge, in a year ago this month. It was the same kind of fencing that surrounded this rose garden over here that the same perpetrators had blocked off. And they had taken $1 million from the Annenberg Foundation, and then the Annenberg Foundation found out how fraudulent they are and left the $1 million on the table. Boy, we could have bought a lot of hot dogs today, huh? World War II, World War I, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, the war on terrorism. It all requires the rank and file veteran. We go in, we do our job, we come out, and we hope that what we gain by honorably serving would actually make a difference. And sometimes it feels like it just doesn't. Especially when you find out that there are the likes of this going on by a community that can go out and buy its own park someplace. The fact that this is going on and nobody is saying anything about it but this little group right here. The fact that the media won't cover this or pick it up. The fact that the President of the United States is being kept at a distance. Is probably being filtered information about this because he would be here if he knew all of the skeletons that are in this closet. And there are plenty. What can we do? What can we do as a little ragtag band of brothers? We can do plenty. Our backs are against the wall right now. We don't have this kind of money. We don't have this kind of political clout. But we have truth on our side. We have truth on our side. This is a home. This was specifically set aside to house and to heal veterans. So what's wrong with this picture? Everything. I'm not going to blame the entire VA system. I can't do that. Because I have found good and honest people that are dedicated to the housing and the healing of veterans.
That's right.
I heard your remarks and I appreciate them. However, there's an undercurrent. There's an ill, mean-spirited undercurrent that keeps the truth that we're talking about today from coming out, from being exposed. What will it take? Recently, I saw a video on YouTube of Montel Williams. I don't know how many of you saw it, but briefly what he said is this. Yes, okay, we came to they passed a bill before they went on vacation. But how ignorant are we really, because you're just throwing money at something and you don't know what you're throwing the money at. What has to be done? Included in that bill was the right for these people to keep their bonuses as we go forward. At least now they'll get fired instead of being moved around if they're caught. But the fact is, manipulation of medical service lists, the secret lists that were in Phoenix and other states, and I'll venture to say right here in good old West LA, is the same as stealing the resources, this land that is needed to expand and provide more service and provide shelter. But that's not happening. Instead, an amphitheater is being built on land that is already designated as a public park. What happened to the act and the deed? Nobody's paying attention to that anymore. Why? Because it was in the 1800s? That shouldn't have anything to do with it. That was the master plan, ladies and gentlemen. That was the master plan, not this. Montel on that video was very angry, and he came across with the spirit that I've seen Robert Rosebrock, Howard Hernandez, and other veteran leaders express. We should be angry. We should be mad as hell. But we need to do it in a way where we're effective. Now, Howard suggested a way to become effective. Let's start to occupy this. Let's start to take it over. Let's start to use it, and let's start calling louder and louder and louder for this to return to what it was intended to be: housing and healing for veterans. I'll close by telling you this. The reason I wanted to honor the World War II veterans is because recently 24 soldiers who had been overlooked in history were elevated to be recipients of the Medal of Honor. Among them, at Normandy, was one Private Joe Gandara, who, with his platoon, was pinned down by German machine guns in the small town of Amfreville, which was the resupply point for the Germans to defend Omaha. Private Joe Gandara, who was born and raised in Santa Monica and who's a relative of mine, stood up, took his gun, and he took out three German machine gun nests before he was killed. But it enabled the rest of his troops to get up and retake the village, and consequently that contributed to the victory at Normandy, because the Germans could not resupply. They did a small piece about that in The Longest Day, the movie The Longest Day. That kind of courage. I mean, what was a man thinking? What does a man think when he steps out from safe harbor into enemy fire? He's not the only soldier that did it. I'm the president of the Eugene Obregón Memorial Foundation, and we're putting a wall for all the Medal of Honor recipients at Olvera Street. Every Medal of Honor recipient's name is there. It's all inclusive.
Amen.
What did it take for those individuals to step out from safe harbor and into the line of fire to do what they did? Most of them giving the ultimate sacrifice. I'm sure Private Joe Gandara was tired of being pinned down for 4 hours. Said, somebody's got to do something. It's time that somebody does something here. It's time that somebody heard our voice.
Yes.
It's time that you make a phone call. If you don't use the internet, make a phone call. If you don't want to make a phone call, write a letter. Do something, please. Because if we don't do something, if we don't unite, if we don't act together, this will become a public park. You're going to drive by, you're going to see everybody enjoying an amphitheater where services that's 100% direct benefit to veterans could be, and we will have lost. I don't feel that we're going to lose. I just feel that we have to come together, if not hugging each other and standing shoulder to shoulder, at least in our mind, at least to realize what's right and what's wrong. This is wrong, and what you're doing here today is right. Thank you very much.
Gilbert, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Francisco, come on, kick it, Francisco. Yeah, go ahead, boy. That's crazy. Let's give a big hand also for more better music. Well, I tell you, Francisco, you really brought it home, man. That was a grand slam. We need to hear that, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. Remind me of me. Next speaker we want to bring up is the Northern Vice President of California, Vietnam Veterans of America,